Martell Holt has once again found himself at the center of major discussions, and this time it is not just the fans or his fellow cast members speaking out. Claudia Jordan and Dustin Ross have shared their thoughts about the way Martell continues to carry himself on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and their words have caused a lot of reactions. They are not holding back when it comes to how they see Martell treating his friendships with the men on the show, especially Marsau Scott. Their commentary points out that Martell has a pattern of trying to embarrass others whenever he feels attacked, and instead of taking accountability for his own actions, he often chooses to drag everyone else down with him. This has been a repeating theme ever since the first season, and it is something viewers cannot ignore anymore. Claudia Jordan made it very clear that Martell's actions toward Marsau and others on the cast are not just disagreements. According to her, he goes beyond healthy arguments and begins pulling out personal information, old stories, and accusations in order to hurt people. She explained that the root of Martell's issues with Marsau did not actually come from deep betrayal or any major offense. Instead, it started with a simple joke Marsau made back in the early days of the show. Marsau thought he was just joking around, but Martell did not take it lightly. At the time, Martell was already dealing with public accusations about his marriage, his behavior, and his reputation. Rather than simply dealing with those issues, Martell turned his anger on Marsau. From that point forward, Martell started digging up things from Marsau's past, trying to use them as ammunition. Claudia pointed out that Martell's choice to bring up Marsau's job at the movie theater, or to remind people that he once struggled with employment, was not necessary. Those things had nothing to do with the original problem between the two men. By bringing them up, Martell was simply trying to make Marsau look small in the eyes of the public. Claudia said this kind of behavior is deflection. Instead of standing on his own truth, Martell constantly tries to turn the attention away from his faults and put the spotlight on other people's supposed flaws. Even when it comes to Marsau and Letitia's marriage, Martell has thrown out accusations of cheating and other issues. But as Claudia said, none of that really has anything to do with the root of the argument. Dustin Ross added to Claudia's points by saying that Martell is the type of person who cannot be trusted with secrets. According to Dustin, if Martell feels like he is under pressure, he will reveal anything and everything he knows about the people around him. Instead of keeping things private, he will expose others just to take the heat off himself. Dustin compared Martell to someone at a dinner table who starts spilling everyone's secrets when things get uncomfortable. This comparison paints Martell as a person who will burn everything down instead of simply admitting his part in the drama. Dustin also made it clear that Martell was not just a victim in the situations he now tries to expose. He reminded viewers that Martell was often right there in the room when certain things were happening, laughing along or enjoying the company. In other words, Martell was not just observing, he was part of it. For him to now act shocked or disgusted makes him look hypocritical. Dustin said that Martell only began sharing secrets when his own personal life blew up and his wrongdoings were exposed. Before that, he was perfectly fine with keeping things quiet. Claudia echoed that by saying she cannot stand people who stay silent as long as things are going their way but suddenly want to tell everything when they feel wronged. She explained that it does not make Martell look noble or honest. Instead, it makes him look just as guilty as the people he is trying to expose. For her, Martell has been complicit the entire time. If he thought what was happening was truly wrong, he should have spoken up back then. Doing it now only makes it clear that he is using the information as a weapon, not as a way to tell the truth. The interesting part of Claudia's commentary is that she believes Martell is acting like someone who is crashing out. She says his behavior gives the impression of a man who has lost control, but at the same time he tries to act like he is calm and in control. She even pointed out how his voice changes when he answers questions, suggesting that he may not be telling the truth. For Claudia, Martell seems more focused on humiliating the other men than actually resolving any issues. She compared his behavior to tactics often seen on shows like The Real Housewives, where people expose secrets just to win an argument. Looking back at the show's earlier seasons, the pattern Claudia and Dustin are describing becomes even clearer. From season 1, Martell was often quick to criticize Kimmy, Marsau, Letitia, and Wanda. He called Kimmy a side chick, he made it clear he did not like Marsau or Letitia, and he constantly found reasons to argue with them. Even when Melody tried to build peace, Martell resisted. A perfect example is when Melody was planning a birthday party for the children. She wanted to invite Marsau's kids, but Martell did not want their parents to attend. That moment showed how deep his dislike for them went, even when it came to something as innocent as a child's birthday. When Martell and Marsau started their business together, Sculpt, people were confused about how they even managed to work together considering Martell's attitude. Claudia pointed out that Martell likely never liked Marsau and Letitia, but he collected information about them anyway. He kept secrets and stored stories so that one day, when he felt like it, he could use them. That is exactly what we see happening now. Martell has a long memory, and instead of letting go of past frustrations, he waits until the perfect moment to throw them back in someone's face. The podcast discussion also brought up Martell's video with Ariane and another young lady, where he made comments about Marsau and Maurice. Martell seemed proud to share that he never went behind his friends, but that they would come behind him. He bragged about how his friends would sleep with women after he did, as if that was some kind of accomplishment. Dustin pointed out that this was pure toxic masculinity. At that time, Martell was not disgusted or ashamed. He was actually bragging. This proves that his sudden need to expose his friends is not about morals. It is simply revenge now that things are not going his way. Carlos, of course, did not add much commentary during this discussion. As the producer of the show, he knows better than to get caught up in these debates. He often allows others to give their thoughts while he stays neutral. But even his silence speaks volumes. Many believe Carlos avoids criticizing Martell directly because he does not want to deal with the chaos that would follow. Martell has shown that he is willing to scorch the earth when he feels attacked, and Carlos is smart enough not to get in the middle of that. Claudia and Dustin's points about Martell's character highlight a problem that has been there from the very beginning. Martell has shown that he struggles with accountability. Instead of focusing on his own actions, he chooses to highlight the flaws of others. This makes it nearly impossible to trust him, especially for the men on the show. As Dustin said, if you know Martell is going to expose your secrets whenever he gets upset, why would you ever confide in him? That type of behavior destroys friendships and makes it hard to build genuine bonds. The irony is that Martell often claims he wants respect and loyalty. He wants people to treat him with dignity, but he does not offer the same in return. Whenever he is cornered, he lashes out. Whenever someone brings up his mistakes, he deflects by pointing out someone else's. Claudia called it perfectly when she said that Martell is not standing in his truth. Instead of saying, "Yes, I did this wrong," he says, "But what about what they did?" That type of deflection does not solve anything. It just creates more chaos. It is also worth noting that Martell seems more comfortable going after the men than the women. Claudia pointed out that Martell probably knows he cannot win in arguments against women because they will call out his manipulation and lies. With men, however, he tries to appear stronger and louder, hoping that aggression will cover up his weak points. But as time goes on, it becomes clear that his strategy is backfiring. More and more people see through his tactics, and instead of making him look powerful, it makes him look insecure. Claudia's observation that Martell is crashing out is powerful because it captures exactly what fans have seen for years. From his marriage falling apart to his ongoing battles with Melody and now his attempts to embarrass Marsau and Maurice, Martell's life has been a constant cycle of conflict. If this is not crashing out, then what else can we call it? For over 7 years, viewers have watched Martell repeat the same destructive behaviors. He collects secrets, uses them when he feels cornered, and then acts surprised when people no longer trust him. Fans have also noticed that Martell does not seem to realize how bad he looks when he exposes others. Instead of appearing strong, he comes across as petty. Instead of looking honest, he looks desperate. When Dustin said that Martell only exposes others because he is mad, he summed it up perfectly. People can see the difference between someone telling the truth out of concern and someone weaponizing the truth out of anger. Martell clearly falls into the second category. At the end of the day, Claudia and Dustin have simply put into words what many viewers have been saying for years. Martell Holt is not someone you can trust. He is not someone who takes accountability. And he is not someone who builds people up, he tears them down when it suits him. Whether he is targeting Marsau, Maurice, Kimmy, or Letitia, the pattern is always the same. He deflects, he exposes, and he burns bridges. What makes this situation even more frustrating is that Martell had opportunities to build positive relationships. He had a chance to co-parent peacefully, to work with his castmates in business, and to create a strong image for himself as a father and entrepreneur. Instead, he chose drama. He chose to focus on tearing others down instead of building himself up. Claudia and Dustin calling him out is just the latest chapter in a story that fans have been watching unfold for nearly a decade. It will be interesting to see if Martell changes his approach moving forward. But based on his track record, it is unlikely. Claudia is right, this is who he is. He has been this way for years, and the show has simply given him a larger stage to act it out. For viewers, the question is not whether Martell will expose someone else, but rather who he will target next. As long as he continues to avoid accountability, the cycle will keep repeating.